going to do a checkout on a couple of travel trailers here. They all operate basically the same way. Your responsibility to show up with a class 4 receiver hitch, which is a 2" by 2" square tube, and your 7-way trailer plug. So this is the male end of it. You're going to show up with a 7-way female end of the 7-way trailer plug before you get here. We've already talked about the electric trailer brakes. We highly encourage you to have electric trailer brakes, and for safety reasons, if you're on our insurance, you're required to have electric trailer brake controller. We're going to try to make this as fast as possible. We're going to show you about the propane tanks. We're going to go inside and then walk around on the outside. There's always 2 propane tanks on board. We always want you to run on the left-hand side first. That's why the supply line says left this way, and the indicator says full. So very doubtful on most of the rentals that you even run out of propane, but you're always to top off the left-hand tank and run on that one first. If for some reason you run out of the propane tank on this side, you simply turn this off, switch the supply line to the opposite side, and then turn this one on. At this time, while I have you out here, I'm going to show you that this is the tongue jack. This is how you level the trailer from front to back. Once you've unhooked and moved away from the trailer at your campsite, then go ahead and level it front to back with the tongue jack. We're going to stabilize it and show you where the stabilizer jacks are in a minute. You swing right over here, you can see the house battery. And then there's a hot light that comes off from that usually has a plug in it or a fuse. You usually don't have any problems with that. So the next thing we're going to do is go on inside and walk you through that. So come on in. Okay. We're inside one of the travel trailers right now. I'm going to use terms that are familiar with the RV industry. It's LP, AC, and DC. So LP is liquid propane gas, DC is direct current or battery, and AC is alternating current, or what most people call electricity. So the travel trailer runs on all of those services. The first thing I'm going to show you is the control panel right here. It's usually some type of a touch button control panel where you can see the gauges. Simply by pushing on there, you can tell that the battery has a full charge on it. The water that you're portaging or hauling with you is full. Your black water tank is completely empty, and so is your gray tank. That's how you want to pick up a motorhome. Full of water, but the holding tanks have been dumped and cleaned and sanitized. And a full battery charge, obviously. Think of this freshwater supply. That's the potable, portable. That's what you're taking with you. We'll show you a couple of shots of it here later. The water tank, that's what you're taking with you. So that requires a pump. This is your water pump. Probably couldn't pick that up on the video, but it was just pressurized up to a certain pressure. Anytime you want water out of this freshwater tank, you have to pump it out. So if the pump's not on, you can't get any of that water. Now, if you're hooked up to city water, you're not using this supply of water. You're using the city supply, and therefore you don't need the pump on. So city, no pump, freshwater or potable, you have to have the pump on. It doesn't matter whether you're using the shower, the toilet, or the sinks. A hot water tank is 6 gallons, only takes 12 minutes. It's propane. I doubt you can pick this up on the video, but usually takes about 10 seconds. You'll hear a tick, 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 and then a boom. They're just lit. So the hot water tank is only, like I said, it's only 6 gallons, only takes 12 minutes to heat up, runs off from propane. Our suggestion is you leave that off all the time, except for just taking a shower. Otherwise, it's a potential for fire. You have the flame on. If you forget about it, you're towing from point A to point B. You don't want to go in the gas station with it on. And lots of times it's placed somewhere around the bed, and so you're going to hear that come on and off all the time. Anyway, that's the hot water heater, period. Again, I mentioned a couple AC, LP, DC, and AC. There are a few appliances that require AC to run. The microwave, the roof air conditioner, and any of the plug-ins require AC. That means you need to be plugged into shore power cord. Shore power. For those of you that are dry camping, not going to have any shore power, then you probably want to take a generator. If you don't take a generator with you, then you're not going to be able to operate these appliances. I have a little Honda 2000 watt generator that will typically run the microwave, or reasonably close to running the microwave. Will not run the air conditioner. You almost need a 3500 or 4000 watt generator for the air conditioner. So keep that in mind when you're out traveling. While I'm talking about that, the house battery on the front of the travel trailer, that's the DC battery, and it runs the lights, it runs the water pump, we just demonstrated it, runs the furnace fan. So if you're dry camping and not going to be hooked up electricity, you need to be mindful of using those, or else you're going to run out of battery power. If you run out of battery power, then you need to think about how you're going to recharge that up. You're going to have a generator, or you're going to have the hookup on your truck to charge the battery, or you're going to have access to shore power. This is my kind of my indicator species, if you will. When I walk into an RV, whether it's a trailer or motorhome, the first thing I always look at is the LED lit up on the microwave. If it is not lit up, then you have a power problem. You have a source problem, excuse me. So somewhere in the park, or maybe you're hooked up to somebody's house garage outlets, you've tripped a breaker. If you're not getting power to the microwave, then the trailer doesn't have power. You're getting power to the microwave and the roof air conditioner doesn't work, guess what? You tripped a breaker. You don't have power to one of the outlets, you tripped a breaker. And those breakers are right down here underneath the refrigerator, just a simple breaker panel, just like in your garage, they're labeled. So you've tripped one of those things. If you don't have power to this, you have a source problem. All right, we're going to keep on going through here and show you the stove. Stove oven combination is always LP. Most of the time you need to bring a striker. I recommend that you bring a striker. Turn it to the light position, put your striker on here, and it lights up. Simply, this gauge goes to that and that. So pretty simple. Match it there. Next thing to talk about is the refrigerator. The refrigerator is one of those appliances. It's actually a dual supply. It runs on LP and AC, so it actually will go from two different systems, which is kind of cool. We normally run these refrigerators out of here on a rental. We usually run them on what's called an auto setting. So it will automatically seek alternating current or find electricity if it's available, and it will automatically light the liquid propane gas if it's not available. So it's pretty nice. It just works automatically back and forth. So for the vast majority of you, you don't have to do anything with this. That's the on-off button. I've just turned the entire unit completely off. It's not going to run on LP or AC. If I turn the unit back on, it's on the auto button, so it's going to seek alternating current. If it finds electricity, it's going to run on that. If it doesn't, it's going to light the propane. Guess what? Looking over here at the microwave, I know I got AC power, so I know that this is running on electricity. As soon as you unplug from here and take off for home, as soon as we unplug from the shore power, because that's how we usually do demos, as soon as we leave from here or unplug it, it's going to automatically, hence the term auto, go over to LP gas and run going down the road. So as you're going down the road, it's an exposed flame. It's liquid propane gas. The reason I bring that up is when you go into a gas station, you really should, before you pull in front of the pumps, go ahead and send somebody out here to turn that unit off. That way we don't have any exposed flames. You already have the hot water heater off, remember, because you're not taking a shower. So that extinguishes the flame right there. So I'm going to turn back on. It checks itself onto this. Now, on a refrigerator, they're expensive, and you don't want to buy one. And I'll gladly sell you one if you take this home and park it on the hillside. So that with travel trailers, especially, we have the problems when people go home, they're not leaving until tomorrow. They want to get it up near shore power, electricity, and it's on a hillside. It has to be reasonably level, and they say 6% grade. So you don't want to buy a refrigerator, so park it level. If you can't do that when you get home, you need to turn the unit completely off, so it's not running on AC or LP, load it, and then as you're on the road, go ahead and turn it back on. These are travel locks, so get the kids to push and then pull. Nice and frozen cold in there. Push and then pull. That's all there is to this. I'm just going to kind of move back and pantry. There's usually some place to put a TV. We don't include TVs, so when we bring a TV, then you can include it. Most people know how to make down the dinettes. We're not going to cover that as well. GFI plug is usually somewhere around the bathroom or somewhere around the sink, outside sink. That's the GFI plug. So if a plug-in doesn't work, the first thing you need to do is check the GFI, see if it's tripped. I'm going to have Grant reset up, and we're going to show you how to run the furnace, or actually the climate control, so it's actually the furnace and the air conditioner. So come on back. All right, a little bit of cramped quarters back here we got set up. This is your control panel. Usually it's over by the back bed somewhere in the back of the trailer. You're going to see cool, fan, off, and heat. So this is air conditioner cool. Again, requires AC power. Well, we know that we have AC because we looked at the microwave. So does the fan, runs AC power, the off switch, and then the heat. Now the heat is a forced air gas furnace, So there's a fan, happens to be DC, and then the gas is LP. So again, just like the refrigerator, this is a dual source, but it requires both of them. This is our biggest concern when somebody's going out dry camping, not hooked up electricity. They run the heat all night in cold weather situations, and it runs the battery down. And so they get up in the morning, they don't have any heat. Well, they don't. It's not that they don't have any heat; they don't have any battery power. So I'm going to demonstrate here. I'm going to turn it on to cool, and then I'm going to run the fan setting to on. It's either low or high, doesn't really matter. So when I put it on air conditioning, I don't know if you can pick that up on the video, but the air conditioner's going. I can already feel it starting to cool down. So there's the air, and then on. So when you're running the air conditioner, we would prefer you to set it to cool and then on. Don't set it on automatic, because auto will run off the thermostat. So once the air conditioner comes on, we want it to stay on until you're ready for it to stop. That way you don't trip breakers. I'm going to turn the unit off. It goes completely off. Now I'm going to turn it on to heat. It's a little bit warm today, so we might have to crank this thing up. So remember, forced air gas furnace, we're going to turn it to that. We're going to turn it to automatic. That means it's going to run off the thermostat now. We're going to run the thermostat way high. Probably can't pick that up on the video, but we're now getting a fan, a sound of a fan running. That's the DC fan. It's going to run for approximately 12 or 14 seconds, and then it's going to cycle and ignite the liquid propane gas and bring it up to temperature. Boom, right there. Just clicked and lit. So it will shut off, shut back on as it needs to keep it at a certain temperature. The furnace, by the way, is the biggest consumer of propane. Most of my rentals are in the summertime, so it's usually not a problem. But if you're renting this in inclement weather or cold weather, just be mindful the furnace burns up a lot of propane. So I'm going to slide this back to 55. The furnace shut down immediately, so it's already off, and the fan will continue to run for another 15-20 seconds. We're just going to run that all over to the off position. So just remember, cool, on, furnace or heat, auto, set the thermostat, make sure you have a full battery power before you go to bed. Another thought on the heating system, if you're going to be hooked up to electricity, some shore power somewhere, it's also very smart to bring along a small little electric space heater where you can put it in. That way it runs all day. The walls and everything will be warm when you get in, and then use the thermostat as your backup. The liquid propane gas furnaces on the RVs tend to be a little bit more humid than most people are used to. And so electric heater might be a good idea too. Next time we're going to set up and go in the bathroom, and then we'll get outside. So let's go. Okay, we're in the bathroom. We're going to talk about the shower and the toilet. Again, if you're going to take a shower, you would have already turned on the hot water tank about 15 minutes ago. You'll come in here, sit on the shower, turn the water pumps on because we're not hooked up to water, city water, by the way. So you turn on the hot water, cold water, force it to the top, goes to this, that's on and off. So the theory is to get the temperature to where you want it before you get in the bathroom. And then from there, you can stand this back up and take a normal shower. This is designed to get yourself wet until the kids get yourself wet, turn it off, get all soaked up, and turn it back on. So a lot of people refer to it as like a Navy shower or whatnot. So anyway, pretty common sense stuff. The toilet, same way. Toilet actually has directions on the lid. I'm going to go over it. There's actually a lever over here on the left-hand side. If you're going to have a bowel movement, tell the kids before they come in here, fill the tank about halfway up, like that, and then have a bowel movement and then flush it. If they're going to come in here and just pee, they don't have to put water in the bowl. After they flush it, it will squirt a little bit of water. A lot of people don't use enough water, thinking they're going to be conservative on the tank. If you put enough water in with the bowel movements, then stuff is going to build up on one side. The indicators are going to ring wrong or whatnot. And depending on how long a trip, you could actually plug up the toilet. So make sure you have enough water when you're flushing, especially with the bowel movements. You can use regular toilet paper. We're going to sanitize the tank when you get back in and clean it out, so you don't have to use biodegradable type of toilet paper. Unless you're on, again, a long rental, 3 or 4 weeks or whatnot. We're going to provide you the first chemical packet. We want you to tear the chemical packet open and put the contents, not the packet, but put the contents in the toilet. Throw the packet away. And then if you want to buy more packets, let us know. They're $5 each. Every time you dump the holding tank, then obviously you're washing it out with the chemical with it, so you'll have to put a new chemical packet in each time. So that's pretty simple. We are going to head outside and get you guys on the road. We're back outside. We've leveled the trailer front to back, with the front jack. And now we're going to put down the stabilizer jacks. These are not designed to lift up the travel trailer at all. They're just designed to stabilize it so when you're walking around in there, it won't flop back and forth. So you have 4 stab jacks, 1 on each corner. Do not lift the trailer, just stabilize the trailer with that. The step right here, I'm going to show you how to use the step. You don't want to drive down the road. Put your hands on this, because sometimes it just gets a little bit of sand inside of it. Hand on it. Lift up. That's it. Shore power cord. This is live only if you are hooked up to electricity, as we are right now. And you know that because you remember the microwave lights on. So we're hooked up to shore power just so we can run the camera. A couple of these motorhomes have these great big cargo storage, which is pretty nice. These tilt up so you can put bikes and stuff in there. Make sure you get a shot of the freshwater tank. Here's the freshwater tank. You saw the indicator, it said fresh, and it was full. That's why this tank is completely full. If you're going to go on a long trip, so the first day you're going throughout to, let's say, Farewell Bend State Park, you can always jettison the water, dump the water out, so you're not portaging 40 times 8, 320 pounds of water. Usually have a dump hose. We don't call these sewer hoses. These are actually dump hoses. They're only designed in the process of dumping, and you'll have a water hose somewhere. So, well, let's drag this stuff around and back. On this on this particular unit, the freshwater fill tank is right here. It's either just like this, or it's got a fancy little cap on it. This is where you gravity feed, fill that freshwater tank. So you just open this up, put the white hose on it, and just fill it. It just burps out the front, so you know it's full. Fresh water. Okay, I'm going to call that fresh, potable, portable. Okay, so you're portaging with you. It's fresh water, but you don't know the source, so don't drink the water. You can take a shower with it, you can flush the toilets with it, you can wash your hands with it, but bring bottled water to drink. You're not required to bring that back full of water either. So we're going to do another setup over here by the sewer systems, so we'll see you there. Okay, we're over on the driver's side right now, and presumably you've backed into an RV spot here. The utility vaults are right here, so you pull, the first thing you usually do after you get the motorhome or trailer level, pull out the shore power cord. It's about 30 feet, and it has a 30 amp service on the bottom of it. We provide you with a park adapter that converts 30 to 15, which is what residential's homes are. I'm going to point out a couple more things. This is the third stab jack. So you had a stab jack in the front and the back on the other side. Here's your third stab jack. And then you have a fourth stab jack up front. Your dump station is usually somewhere back in here. Usually has a cap on it. We flush the toilet, as you saw me demonstrate. That's why this is all wet. Didn't realize I had the valve wide open. There's 2 valves. We've marked it black and gray, but even still, I want you to know that the black tank valve is big, about 3 inches. Small one is gray. It's about 1.5 inches. Now, how do you know when those are full? Well, you look on the indicator valve, the indicator, the first thing we talked about, and if the toilet is getting full or the black tank is getting full, you need to know you need to dump it. We provide you these nice little brackets to hook these in, twist it around. First thing you need to do is pull out the black tank, just like this. All the solids will run out, and then pull that out. And then once you've closed it, pull out the gray tank, and then that's going to run out the sink water, the shower water. That's it. Back to both sinks, the bathroom and kitchen. And that kind of flushes out your tank for you. And then you can close it. And if you were still on your camping trip, you tear open another packet and put the contents in the toilet, and then you start over. We don't ever talk about the shower. We prefer you not use the outside shower. If you want to use it, you figure it out. Refrigerator vent and furnace exhaust and hot water exhaust down at the front. When you have the furnace on, we talked about that forced air gas furnace. That's liquid propane, basically burning, and this is going to be extremely hot. So you want to make sure that you don't have, you warn the kids or make sure kids aren't just playing back here. Refrigerator vent, because it's going to be on AC right now, LP as soon as I unhook. it needs to be vented or louvered, because when it's on AC or LP, it needs to draw in air. This is your city water connection, so you're going to hook up the city water hose, the white water hose, to the spigot. So once you've hooked up electricity, hook up the water hose, turn it on, pressurize the systems. With this hooked up to the city water pressure, you don't have to run the pump because you're not using your fresh water supply. Last thing I want to mention is down here, hot water tank. Pretty simple. It lights. This is right here is where the flame goes in. It's 6 gallons, takes 12 minutes to light. Again, we don't recommend that you leave it on all the time. We recommend that it's your propane, but we recommend that you turn it off and then only use it about 15 minutes before you are ready to take a shower. Next thing we're going to do is give you a checkout form. Now that we're completed with this, you do a physical damage walk around. If there's any dents, I don't really see any dents on this particular unit, but if there were any dents or marks, you want to mark those on there. You're not required to bring the motorhome or the travel trailer back dumped. We're going to flush it. You don't need to put water in it. Just bring back full of propane and bring back clean. You have a checkout form showing you what to clean. So be safe. Have a great trip.